Let's pop it up here on Common Knowledge, my Pauper rating show. I'm looking at random cards, rating them on a terrible scale, and we're just looking at cool commons and potentially seeing maybe if there's some hidden gems in the Pauper format. Again, I want to shout out my one of my favorite content creators, one of my favorite YouTube creators, or one of my favorite Magic the Gathering creators, SBMTG Dev on YouTube. He does great. He came up with this format for just looking at random cards in the in like for Commander, but I thought I'd do it for Pauper. So we've just hitting random on Pauper legal common cards here and see what we get. This is what, day 4? Whew. Day 4. Let's get it in here with Blow Your House Down, which originally came out in Throne of Eldraine. It costs 2 and a red for a sorcery, up to 3. Target creatures can't block this turn. Destroy any of them that are walls. So we see the reference. Is it good though? It's interesting that they put walls in here. I mean, you put walls in here for the flavor reasons, but walls are not seen a bunch in Pauper. I mean, there are certainly decks that use. There are walls in Pauper for sure. There are some decks that use walls that are like combo-y. But I think even more, there are decks that have Defender and like cards with Defender, which are not all walls have Defender, or not all walls are. What am I trying to say here? Like the square, rectangle, not a square. You know, not everything with Defender is a wall, but all walls have Defender. That's what I'm looking for. Up to 3 target. So forget the wall stuff. Up to 3 target creatures can't block this turn. It's okay. You wouldn't really play this. You're really only playing this against walls, and I don't think wall combo decks are one. I don't think they're played enough for you to put this in a sideboard for it, and 2, I don't think this is even that good against that deck where you'd want to play that. So I think this is a 2.1, maybe not even that much, but it's not great. It's not great. Another red card, this time from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. Ooh. We've got Ambitious Assault for 2 and a red for an instant. Creatures you control get +2/+0 until the end of the turn, and if you control a modified creature, you draw a card. Modified creatures are anything that has an equipment attached to it, an aura on it, or has any counters on it. All of those count as modifications. It is, like, on one hand, sure, it pumps all your creatures. You get to come in and come with like a big alpha strike and just pump them up even more. There are other red cards in Pauper that do this more cheaply or do this better. And having the modified creature draw you a card is cool. But I also think if you're using a card like this in Pauper, you're trying to use it as like a finisher. And at that point, you don't need the card. You won the game. If you use something as a finisher and it works, the game's over. You don't need the card. So it's not great. It's not great. I love the art though. I like the Kamigawa goblins. I like the Aki. I think they're cool. Cool is the wrong word. I think they're fun. I'll give this like a, what did I give that walls thing? A 2.1? Better than that. Not much. 2.4. 2.4. Keep it rolling. We have Emerge from the Cocoon from Duskmourn, House of Horror. This is a sorcery that costs you 4 and a white to return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield, and you gain 3 life. Reanimator. White can do it too. It's not just black. You are paying basically the going rate for a normal Reanimator spell. 5 mana is generally what you're paying. We've gotten it down to 4 in Standard with Zombify. And it was before Standard too. Like, Zombify is an older card. And I don't know if it's actually in common, but Resurrection, right? Resurrection. Do I remember how to spell resurrection? It's 2 R's, 1 S. Yep, there we go. Yeah, Resurrection's in common, which is 2 white, and you don't get the 3 life, but you do get target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. I think you would really just play Resurrection over this 9 times out of 10. The life gain's kind of cool, but you don't have as many life gain payoffs in I don't believe there's an Ajani's Pride Mate that is in common. Not really, anyway. I don't think so. I don't think there's... I know Ajani's Pride Mate itself is not a common, but I don't think they make cards like that a common. I think it'd be interesting if they did, but they haven't yet. It's fine. You'd play this in Limited. I played this in Limited, but I don't think it goes in Pauper. It's just not good enough. It's like 3. It's like a 3. It's good. It's outclassed. Hidden Acropolis. Land here. It's a cave. Comes into play tapped. You could tap to add black, or you could pay 4 and a black, tap, and sacrifice this land to discover 4. Activated as a sorcery. Discover, if you're not familiar with it, you exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card with mana value 4 or less. Cast it without paying its mana cost, or put it into your hand and put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. These are okay. I don't have a deck that uses one of these, but I could see it working. It's nice to have a mana sink. It's nice to have something late in the game. You don't have a bunch of cards left in your hand at this point. You're stalling out a little bit. Maybe you've gotten too many lands. You're flooding. But being able to guarantee a spell of some kind by paying 4 and sacking this, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's just generally not good enough. You're getting a monocolored tap land, and I think that does kind of kill it. If it came in untapped, it'd be too good. But when it comes in tapped, it's too bad. And that's the weird thing about Magic, man. Sometimes it's as simple as that. It's like a 3.8. These lands are sometimes used. I don't know if the black one is specifically. Probably not, actually. The black one's probably the worst of these. One of the worst of these, because you're getting like mono black sacrifice has a bunch of cheap creatures that you'd get a 1-drop out of this and you wouldn't really care. Or you'd get a kill spell that maybe is not useful in that situation, so you would just put it in your hand and it kind of feels like, oh, you wasted the mana. You lost a land for this and you didn't get something that you play for free. So yeah, you drew a card effectively, but I think green one's probably the best one. I think you get the best hits with something in green, but even then, I think green could just ramp and draw enough cards on its own. I don't think it needs these. I've seen them in decks before. They're not awful. Fiery Impulse is 1 single red mana for an instant. Fire Impulse deals 2 damage to target creature, and it also has Spell Mastery. If there are 2 or more instant or sorcery cards in your graveyard, Fiery Impulse deals 3 damage instead. It's not bad, but it's hard to beat Lightning Bolt. 1 mana for 3 damage anywhere, anytime. You want to hit somebody's face, you can do that. You want to hit a creature, you can do that. I don't think there's a Pauper Planeswalker, but if there's a Pauper Planeswalker, you could hit him. In fact, there's not a Pauper Planeswalker. But if there ever was, if they made one, That could hit it. This only hits creatures. 2 damage, like that's just a shock at that point. And shock also can hit face, can hit anywhere. This has the ability to do 3 damage. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. It's okay. I didn't play in Magic Origins, but it was probably a real solid limited card. It's just not. It's not solid in Pauper. 2.5. 2.5. Phyrexian Digester is our next card. It's 3 mana for an artifact creature, Phyrexian Construct. It's a 2/1, and it's got Infect on it. Infect, this creature deals damage to creatures in the form of -1/-1 counters and to players in the form of poison counters. And if you get to 10 poison counters, you're dead. Infect is a deck in Pauper. There are some Infect decks out there. They don't play this. They don't play this, and I don't think they want to. 2/1s just, it's too fragile. You'll lose too many things that way. You spent 3 mana to get a 2/1. Somebody probably blocks it, and they just trade. Do you have a way to give this unblockable? Do you have a way to give us any sort of evasion? Even if you do, now you've got to hit somebody 5 times to get to that many poison counters with this. I don't think it's good enough. The decks that use poison counters are proliferate decks that want to hit them with 1 poison counter somehow and then proliferate it all the way up to 10. You don't need a creature like this to keep doing that. I give this a 1.4. I like Phyrexians. I just don't like this one. Let's keep it going. Beastkin Ranger is from Foundations. You can play this card right now in Standard. And you can play it in Standard for a very long time. But it's 2 and a green for a 3/3 Elf Ranger with Trample. And whenever another creature you control enters, this creature gets +1/+0 until the end of the turn. Honestly, not terrible. 3 mana for a 3/3, okay. Adding Trample on it, pretty good. And let's say you're in like a Saproling deck. The what's that? Ravnica. Is it Ravnica? No, it's Time Spiral. Time Spiral card that you play and keep buying back. And you just keep making Saprolings. You make a bunch of Saprolings. You put this in like a Colony Gardens deck where you just play a land and get a token with the Colony Gardens, and this thing gets a little bump. I've seen worse. I've seen better, but I've seen worse. I think this is a totally fine card. I don't think it quite gets to a 5 where it would be really Pauper playable, but it's not far off. I'll give this a 4.4. Decent. It's decent. Just not good enough. And it's also, unless... I don't even think it's a case where it could get a whole lot better. I don't think there's a Pauper deck out there or a new card that could come into the Pauper format that would make this card get to a 5, get to Pauper playable. But it's always like on the cusp of being Pauper playable. Not quite there though. All right, we got a nice old card here. Ooh, from Judgment. No reprint, so it's probably pretty bad. But I like the art, so let's see what it does. Grip of Amnesia is 1 and a blue for an instant counter target spell unless its controller exiles all cards from their graveyard. Draw a card. Okay, so I'm thinking about going against a terror deck, Tolarian terror deck, which, I've talked about that a lot, and I'll continue talking about it a lot. I've got a friend who plays terror. I've faced terror a lot. Here's the situation. It's cool so they're playing their Tolarian terror. They've got all the instants and sorceries they need in the graveyard to be able to allow them to play that. let's say I've got a mono blue fairies deck. So let's say we're playing this. We put this card in there. We play this card. They play their terror. I play this. What are they going to do? Are they going to remove their entire graveyard to get this one card, this 5/5, the big threat? Probably. And then they just keep their big threat. They get the choice. That's always the problem. When they get the choice, even when it's a tough choice, they get the choice. They get to make the best decision for them. We don't want that. We want to make the best decision for us. So what you're doing, you're playing this card to stop the second terror. Or, again, think of their mind. They have 2 terrors in their hand. They play this first terror for 1 mana because they've got enough. And I play Grip of Amnesia against it. And then they go, okay, fine. Well, that one gets countered. I've lost my counter spell. And then they just play the second one because they still have a full graveyard. And now I don't have my counter spell, so now it's done. That's not good enough. Them getting to make the choice makes this unplayable. And it's sad. I think the art looks great. I would love to play a Magic card that looked like this. But it's not good enough. It's not good enough. It's cool. It's interesting. It's not good enough. It's like a 2.3. Yeah, 2.3. It's just not worth it. Especially not at 1 and a blue. Like you have so many other counter spells that are just as cheap, if not cheaper, that do better than that. Nope, you wouldn't play it. You wouldn't play it. Scavenged Blade is 1 and a red for an artifact equipment, and when this equipment enters, attach it to target creature you control. Equipped creature gets +2/+0, and it equips for 2 and a red. So very expensive equip cost, but you don't have to equip it the first time because it automatically gets attached. I like that in equipment. I think that's a good feature of equipment. I understand why when you do that, when you make a cheap equipment that can come in and attach itself automatically, to balance that, you have to make a really expensive equip cost. But I feel like equipment are already so... bad's the wrong word, but they're not that strong. There's too many points of weakness for them. Like when you try to attach one and somebody just blows up the creature, then you just spent the mana and you didn't do anything. It's a real feel bad. So I already feel like, couldn't you just keep the equipment cheap? Like, well, the equip cost could still stay cheap, and it wouldn't be that big of a deal. What did we do? It wasn't this episode. Was it last episode where we had a Champion of the Flame, which was a cool card. It's a 2 mana, 1 and a red for a 1/1 creature with trample, but it gets +2/+2 for each equipment or aura attached to it. You put that on. You put this on that. This makes it a 3/1, and then its ability makes it a 5/3 with trample. We're kind of talking at that point. But it's not great. You wouldn't really play that you wouldn't really play this in most any deck. Yeah, it's just not good enough. I'd give this like a 2.4. Yeah. Art's cool. Ooh, yes! Got to our first Portal 3 Kingdoms card. I love 3 Kingdoms. I've played a lot of Dynasty Warriors in my day. I love that book. I read all 700 plus pages of that book. And I like these cards. I have a mono blue Lu Shun commander deck. Lu Shun's the worst part of that deck, but it's all just about unblockable creatures with horsemanship, or creatures that are just unblockable, and getting in and drawing a bunch of cards. And this is a card that is in that deck. It's not very good, but it is in that deck. It costs way too much. Let's read it, and you'll get to find out. Woo Elite Cavalry is a 3 and a blue for a 2/3 human soldier. It's got horsemanship, which means this creature can't be blocked except by creatures with horsemanship. It's essentially unblockable because there aren't that many creatures with horsemanship. It's kind of when this set came out, like this set was, any of the portal sets are generally like easier to learn sets with fewer mechanics in them. That are meant to help somebody get into the game and learn it. At the very least on Portal 3 Kingdoms, I don't know if this is true of the other Portal sets. I think it might be. Yeah, I think it might be actually. There are no instants. They're all just sorceries. And the sorceries will sometimes say you can play this when an opponent attacks you or something like that. That allows you to play it at an instant speed, but it kind of forces you to only play it at very specific situations so people can learn. People learn when a thing can trigger. There aren't as many surprise things. It plays a little bit more like the Pokemon card game in that way, where there's just fewer surprises. When I'm taking my turn, you're generally not doing anything against me, so I get to do whatever I want to do, and then on your turn, you get to do whatever you want to do. The cards are generally, as you can see, this is a common that costs $2.30, and this is a bad card. This is a bad card, and it still costs that much. Portal 3 Kingdoms was a pretty limited set. Anyway, none of that really matters. I like this card a lot. It is bad. You would not play this in any Pauper deck. Imagine putting this in a ninja deck. Yes, you get to put this on the battlefield. Yes, you get to attack and not get blocked. You can bring in your ninja pretty freely. And then what? You pay another 4 mana to put this creature on the battlefield? A 2/3 with no other abilities? No, you're not doing that. Oh, the horsemanship thing. Horsemanship is basically like flying. But when you're basing it on Chinese history, there aren't a whole lot of things that fly. This is way too long ago for there to be planes, so there wasn't anything with flying in this set. But they kind of needed something that worked like flying. So horsemanship works like flying. It's just a different thing. So now when you bring horsemanship back into normal Magic, it just doesn't have a whole lot of equivalents. So you get a lot of free attacks with horsemanship stuff. But also, this card references one of my favorite 3 Kingdoms / Dynasty Warriors characters, which is Gan Ning. Gan Ning, he got in there. He again, this is right. This is all from the book. He raided Cao Cao's camp with 400,000. Cao Cao's camp had 400,000. He brought in only 100 cavalry. Not a single man or horse was lost, and he messed that place up. Set a bunch of stuff on fire. That dude was rad. Good guy. I mean, not a good guy, but a good general, a good warrior. Yeah. What am I giving this? I don't know. 1.5. 1.5. It's the last card of the day. I'm glad I got to talk about the 3 Kingdoms. Yeah, good. You better hope there's not another 3 Kingdoms card, or I'm going to go off on it some more. Until next time. Bye.